This is Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, a podcast and radio program presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. Most any contemporary musical style can trace its roots back to the blues. Time Signatures explores the blues and its musical connections with captivating interviews, lively discussions, and news from the world of the blues.
You know I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
And now, here he is, your host, Jim Ervin.
Baby, I'm home.
Well, thank you, Parker, and welcome to Time Signatures. I'm your host, Jim Ervin, and our guest this time around is another huge part of the blues scene, and he has been for decades. This living legend moved from Mississippi sharecropper land in Chicago to Chicago in 1963 and set about to becoming a bona fide bluesman. His first steady gig was at Maxwell Street and also at Teresa's Lounge, where he played 7 nights a week for 7 years. Over the course of time, he impressed Willie Dixon enough to become a part of his touring band, the Chicago Blues All-Stars. But in 1981, he got his dream job, serving as band leader for the late, great Muddy Waters until his passing in 1983. Following Muddy's untimely death, our guest joined Magic Slim and the Teardrops, traveling across the globe for 14 years. He has recorded more than 87 albums, 17 of which are in his own name. He has won the Muddy Award for being a traditional blues icon, a Blues Music Award, Blues Blast Awards, 2 Grammy nominations, 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards, and countless others. If you're looking for the definition of a true blues man, you need look no further than John the Real Deal Primer. John, thank you so much for joining us on Time Signatures, my friend.
All right, man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And let me just say that before we get going here, I wanted to bring in none other than one of your good friends and musical partners here, another Chicago legend, blues radio host for 40 years, and owner of the Rhythm Room in Phoenix, Arizona, Mr. Bob Corritore. Now, Bob was a recent guest on our podcast, but these two have been up to something really cool and fun. And their new album, Crawlin Kingsnake, which I'm holding in my hand right here, is out now for purchase and enjoyment. How's it going, Bob? Welcome.
Hey, Jim. Hey, John Primer. How you doing?
Now, Bob and John, this new one is really cool, man. I've been enjoying this CD for a few days now, and it's truly, in my opinion, another home run. Bob, you have a knack for putting some really cool CDs together featuring incredible blues musicians, but this one's a little extra special, yeah?
You know, it just seems that when John Primer and I collaborate, something real magical happens. And this is our 4th collaboration together. And, you know, we just have had a history of these records really being well received. And on top of that, they're just hard-hitting Chicago blues sounds that, you know, John and I are from Chicago. We're steeped in Chicago blues. John is definitively that way. I'm more of a student of the Chicago blues, but I mean, we all grew up listening to that sound. It's part of who we are. So as soon as John and I started collaborating, we just immediately recognized that we had that Chicago thing that we could share between us. And yeah, we went in the studio and just knocked out a bunch of records over a number of years. So this is our 4th collaboration, and I'm proud to be working with a true legend like John Primer.
Now, Bob, I wanted to ask you, I'd like you to fill in our listeners on the others playing on this album. Could you do that, please?
Of course, yeah. Well, our real secret weapon on this record is now 93-year-old Bob Strozier, who was 93 and 92 and 91 at parts of recording this album. And Bob Strozier, of course, is the definitive Chicago blues bass player. I don't think there's a better player out there. And he's just one of those underappreciated true blues beacons, because he defines everything the blues bass playing should be. So when you're listening to it, even though a lot of times people don't listen for the bass, it's just the undercurrent of what's keeping it all going. Then on top of that, you got Wes Starr, who's a dynamite drummer. And then you got some cool people in the rhythm section. Of course, Anthony Gerasi, a well-known piano player, has won a number of awards, and then Jimmy Primetime Smith, who's playing wonderful rhythm and sings a little bit of background vocals on that. And Jimmy is the kind of guy, he can lead like nobody's business, but when it's time to just back somebody, he's real content just being an integral part of the groove, playing some cool rhythm parts. So he's that little undercurrent that you might also not necessarily notice because he's not sticking out. He's given all the room for John Primer to play the lead guitar, and he's just playing the backing parts. But it works well. Everybody had a role, and everybody fulfilled that role. We're all steeped in that sound and that tradition. And so you put a bunch of people who can really speak in that language together, and you're going to have a really cool conversation, which I think is what Crawlin Kingsnake is. We're really proud of that.
John, I want to get you involved here too. You guys you've recorded and toured with Bob in the past. Talk about the chemistry you guys have together, because you really have come across as genuinely having fun in my perspective. And when did you really begin working with Bob?
Well, it's been a great, like work with Bob. We get things together. We get things done. We both agree with each other. Well, when he come up with a plan, the way he do things, we agree. I agree with him, and whatever songs I come up with, he agreed with that. But it's just a pleasure for me doing things with Bob. He's really a true blues man, and he keep all the blues going, and not just for himself, but most every blues musician in the world, that he really backs them up and advertise all the blues guys. And he always mentioned, even if he always say good things about all musicians. If you say, Bob, so-and-so said that, but he always say, well, he always got a good explanation to straighten it out, say, well, you did this and that, but he always been a good advisor in the way he does, the blues, and the way he come by it and doing it. So it's a good thing that we got going, and it's been going for a while, and just been a pleasure to do these things with him. We go up there and we keep all the traditional blues alive. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bob, I wanted to ask you, where can people find a copy of this new album so they can have their own copy? And are you guys going to be doing some touring together based on this release also?
We've got a California tour in the fall, and we'll be playing the No Toad and Blues Festival. And in just about a week, we've got some dates in Memphis and Mississippi around the Blues Music Awards. So we've got a few things that we're doing, but we're both really kind of busy in our own schedules also. John's working tremendously. I have my nightclub in Phoenix that I work at quite a bit, and I've got a few different shows with some other people too. I'm working a lot with Jimmy Primetime Smith here in Phoenix and on the road. And John's like all over the map all the time, just steady touring. So when we get together, I always look at it as a privilege and an honor. But we don't get to do it all that often. But you can get it from either of our bandstands, or you can get it from my website, bobcorritore.com, or John Primer's website, which I believe is johnprimerblues.com. Is that right, John?
Yep.
And then, so you can get either that way, either of our bandstands, or you can just go online wherever music is sold. They've got downloads available. They've got the album available. So, whatever way you want to pick it up. And then, of course, people who stream can get it on all the major streaming services. So it's widely available. And and it was on Amazon's #1 new blues release. So
nice.
we're for that. So
very pleased with that.
Well, I want to tell you, I'm really excited because the copy that I received is signed by all of you. Thank you so much for that. The new CD or album is called Crawlin Kingsnake. It's available right now at all the places that were just listed. So make sure you go out and get your copy today. Bob Corritore, I want to thank you so much for stopping by for the chat. And we're going to continue on with John here.
John will give you the good stuff. So, John,
all right.
see you soon. All right.
It's all good. Yeah.
All right. And thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. John, your bio is nothing short of incredible, man. Being raised as I was, reading about the early years, working as on sharecropper land, at times not being able to attend school because you had to work, even as a child, just to be able to survive. I don't think I'm overstating this, but for the most part, today's kids have no damn idea what kind of a childhood is like that, do they?
Not anymore. Not even down in Mississippi. It's not that way anymore. Like when I grew up as a child, it was hard for me to survive. And but the kids these days, they don't understand what hard time come from. They think hard time is in Chicago. But it's a hard time. But a lot of times they don't have no food to eat in Chicago. You know, a lot of poor people's here and all around the world. They don't know that's their hard time, but they don't know the hard time of sharecropping and surviving back in the days and doing work when you was young and 12 years old. You have to go to the cotton field and plying a mule and drove a tractor, but most of plying the mule when I was growing up and chopping the cotton and picking the cotton and pulling the corn by hand. They didn't have a machine for cotton and pulling corn back then.
Yeah.
So it was a hard time. And sometimes, you know, you had to grow your own food, your own garden, because in the summertime it was easy, not easy, but, you know, survive off. You could eat vegetables and stuff like that. But in the wintertime, you didn't have all that to eat. It was tougher to survive in the wintertime on the sharecropper farm. Yeah. So we pull the corn and shell the corn and take it to the mill and bring it back like Muddy Water say. Put it all in the sack and make meal out of it, you know. And the seed check from the cotton wasn't that much, 3, 4, 5 bales of cotton a week. It was seed check would probably be $7, but it was good. You know, you could buy a sack of flour, 25-pound sack of flour for maybe 50 cents. But you know, it would help feed the family. It was a hard time. Sometimes you one meal a day. You worked all day long. You eat one meal a day. Yeah. Maybe
John.
two.
Yeah. I was reading that your father used to play the blues around the house. Now, what are your earliest memories of music? Was blues always a part of your musical diet, so to speak?
Yeah, for me, yeah. Since the day I was born, it was music all around. My grandmother and all them playing blues on these records, 78s. See, I come from 78s. Wow, 78. You know? So I began in there, and they just to play all that stuff, and they had a record player. I come from the one that you had to wind up and put the needle on there. See?
Okay.
That's what the 78 one, you know. So I come from all that, and I learned from my grandmother and them. They had more blues records, and I had a cousin that come down the road every Sunday morning. On Sunday morning, he didn't go off work, and he come down that road playing that guitar. And I was a little kid, and I always just wanted to be a musician, to be a guitar player and sing and get out the cotton field.
Now, I'd like you to talk about that first guitar that you created, the diddly bow on the side of your grandmother's house.
Yeah. It was a diddly bow. Well, it was already there, built when my uncle and my cousin them used to play it around the side of the house there all the time, not a little. But I used to sneak around there when they go to the field, and 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, bang on that thing. 3, bang on it. And I got to about pretty good age, and I kind of could use a hammer, and I build me one upside the house if my cousin come from down the hill there and snatch and tear it down, you know. She was all the same age that was. She was always snatching down, but I built my own, and I just kept playing that thing, and that's what started me in playing the music and guitar. Just one string called the diddly bow, and after that, I had a cousin live down the road about 2, 3 miles, and I would go down there every time they dad go to the he would drive a truck from Canton, Mississippi. He'd do an ice truck. He would always come to the field, bring people ice, sell ice, and have a fridge there. And I would go down there and play on that guitar, because he had a son could play a little bit, you know. He could play a little Jim Ervin, a little stuff like that, some, you know. But I kind of picked that up and started playing that guitar, and I learned when I was 6 years old, I could play. Yeah.
Nice. Now, you said that you played the guitar. Time. I'm sorry?
No, I said all that come from a hard time, man. And the feeling. Yeah.
Well, and I was reading one of your interviews where you said that playing guitar helped you relieve your sadness.
Yeah,
And I read that you lost your father when you were just a young boy, and then your mom moved to Chicago, leaving you and your sister with family down there. That
yeah,
truly must have been a tough time for you.
yeah, man. It was tough because at that age, I remember my dad. I was 3 years old, going on 4. He was 19, going on 20 when he lost his life.
Wow.
But I remember him. He used to come get me up to my grandmother's house on a bike sometime in the daytime, stick of peppermint candy in his back pocket, and he would put me on a little bike in the seat and on the basket. He'd give me that stick of peppermint candy. The little bag was red and had a big white wall tires on it. So when he give me that and put me in it and go down the hill, I don't know where we go. I never can remember where he taking me to. At nighttime, he would come and get me walking. Him and his buddy a guy named Buddy Lewis, and Buddy Lewis was the guitar player. But they were
Okay.
very young, and my dad he could play a little harmonica, so he picked me up and take me back wherever they take me. I have to go through the gate. I don't know where we go. I probably go to sleep because it'd be at night. So I've been around this old. I guess that's what rubbed off me. I mean, that guitar that he used to play all the time. My friend, his friend, buddy, yeah, yeah. So all that, I just want to be what I am, a musician.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Well, and you finally made the trip to Chicago in 1963. You never lost hope, and you got up
Nope.
there. Talk about your early years being in Chicago and your determination to achieve the level of success in music that drove you.
Well, I already know these guys, Muddy Water and all the Howler Wolf, all their music when I lived in Mississippi, all the old, I came in 1945, so I go way back. So, but when I got to Chicago in 1963, I didn't know these guys were still alive. I thought maybe they was all gone, like up there, like Willie Dixon said, blues heaven. I thought they was all there, but when I got to Chicago, my stepfather said, "Oh no, they all still alive. Muddy Water's playing tonight downtown, the old town, in Mr. Kelly, live at Mr. Kelly." So I said, "Wow!" And Howlin' and all these guys, Jimmy Reed, they all was alive when I came to Chicago. So they really influenced me a lot. So, oh wow, because when I was playing guitar, I was just playing guitar to just something I wanted to do. I didn't think, wasn't planning for trying to make a career out of it. But when I got to Chicago,
Sure.
then that's when I said, hey, I want to be like these guys, make a career out of it. So I never give up playing. I've been playing, never quit playing guitar, never lost hope in playing guitar, playing music. I never lost hope. And I thank the good Lord for letting me live this long
Yes,
and
sir.
taking this far. Yeah, taking this far. And I never won these awards and everything. So it's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me. It's paid off. See, paid off for me. Just keep on doing it. Don't give up.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back to 1974. You got a really big break replacing John Watkins at Teresa's, and you worked 7 nights a week for 7 years straight.
Yeah.
That stint ultimately got you recognized, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it got me recognized a lot playing at Teresa Lounge. Because, I was working around a little bit with other people in Chicago and West Side. But when I made it to Chicago, made it down to Teresa, that's really, kind of helped me out a whole lot because I played 799 and I was in the house band with the great Junior Wells and James Cotton and everybody else, Louis Miles, the Four Aces, Peter Smith, Flint Robinson. They all came down there. I didn't get a chance to meet Little Walter, but Otis Wood, all the blues musicians would come down to Teresa there and hang out and play. And so that's really got me going when I started playing at Teresa. And
Yeah.
people really knew who I was and who I am and the way I played. And, but I think to my good friend that I was playing on the West Side rehearsing. I went to their rehearsal. And the guy named Sam Good, I know him. He's 6 years old. He could be singing, but play guitar and stuff. So I went there. He said, "Hey, John, I know this club down there called Peyton Plays on 39th Street. Junior Wells owned it." I said, "What?" He said, I'm going down there tonight. I know a band that need a guitar player. And so I said, okay. He said, you mind? I had a car, you know. He said, will you take me down there tonight? I said, yeah, man, I'll go. And I had an old car, old brown Chevy, looked just like Beretta, stick shift on the collar. So we got there, we rode down there. I go inside, and sure enough, Junior Will was there, and they had 2 bands in that club playing. Yeah. So, so they was playing, and when they came down on break, and he told Sam Good told John Watkins, say, hey, I brought this guitar player down there, man. You should check him out. Say you're looking for one. He pretty good. That's what he said, Sam. And so they went back up. He called me up, and I played the whole set with him. And he said, man, I sure like the way you play, man. But look here, are you interested? Yeah, join the band. I joined his band. This band was called, the drummer named Hot Coke. I don't know why. Then I found out, Hot Coke. No, I don't think I want to be in no hot coke. Cocaine is bad. That's what I said. But it's just Hot Coke. He just named the band. He said, John Watkins said, and I know this club, you know, that Junior Wells plays in. I work there called Teresa, but I'm finna quit because I'm tired of that junk. You know, I'm tired of it. He said the bad word, and I want to say it on him. And so he said, just meet me down there tomorrow. It's Sunday, and I'll be rehearsing with my band. Come on down there and sit in with me. That's okay.
Wow.
So now I go down there, and I walk in there, and Blackstone Range was around, and I was afraid the bus would put me off a block away from Teresa. And I was shaking like a leaf on a tree. So when that bus pulled off, I pulled off too. When that bus made it down into that block, I was there at Teresa. It didn't stop, but when it passed Teresa, I was there. So I went inside. I could hear John Watkins and them playing, rehearsing, and the same year. That was 1973 or 74. Play that funky music, white boy. Play that funky music, right? That record was out then, you know. So now I go walk, and this old lady sitting on the bar, nodding what they putting on with the beer can sitting there. I said, this lady must be drunk a beer and got drunk to myself. But she just had that beer can sitting there. And so when I said, good evening, ma'am, how you doing? She said, how you doing? I said, John Watkins, my name's John Primer, and John Watkins told me to come down there and sit in with him. Play. She said, there he is back there. Playing that funky music, white boy. And I started walking back there. She threw a beer can at him. Must have been half full of beer. And passed by me. And so he said, now, he looked at me, he pointed his finger and said, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'm tired of that stuff, you know. So I said, wow. He said, just tell Junior Will, Monday you come down, tell Junior Will, I said, I sent you down here to take my place. And so Junior Will, that Monday I was there, playing all the way to Virginia came in. I played with Sammy Lawhorn, Muddy Water, old guitar player, 15 years. So I was playing. And so I told Junior, I said, hey, Junior, John Walker told me to come down and play in these plays. And Junior said, never heard me play. And guess what he even said in the chamber? He said, okay, I don't care. He was a nice guy. He said, I don't care. I think Sam and them have told me the way I play rhythm, because I could hear Sam and all, you know, Terry Lewis, Martin, and them, all musicians, the way I play. I said, man, that guy, he can play some good rhythm. Said, he can play rhythm, lead, and all that stuff. He play the rhythm and guitar all at the same time by himself. Said, yeah. So I got to give him all the way from 7 years there at Teresa Loud.
Nice.
And then that's what got me, and that's really boosted me. Willie Dixon used to hear me play all the time. He'd come down there on Saturday every once in a while and sit there and just hear me singing all this Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, the stuff he'd written. So I asked Sammy Lawhorn, man, who that big fat guy singing like that? Sammy said, oh, that Willie Dixon. He liked all them songs you singing. He wrote all these songs with Muddy Waters and all of them. From Chess Records, I said, oh, okay. Fine, 1979, I got with Willie Dixon Band. And so we all went to Mexico. Got my first passport. Went to
Oh, wow.
Mexico, and it was Coco Taylor, Muddy Waters, Big Bill Bruiser, Larry Davis, all of them was on that show. So Muddy was the headliner, and so we played first Willie Dixon. Willie Dixon asked Muddy, "Who's the young man playing that guitar with you?" He said, "Oh, that's John Primer. He guitar player down at Therese playing Junior World now." He said, "That man know my music." That's what he told Willie. That man know my music. So when the old band quit in 1980, but he had called Willie Dixon and asked for me, because I had been playing in Willie Dixon band for 6 months.
Sure.
But I had left the Willie Dixon band because they would have known I could sing, but they never would let me sing in the band, you know. So that's one score I had against my love working with Willie. He was nice, but I wanted to sing and play too.
Sure.
Let everybody else in the band playing. With Billy Branch was in the band, Jimmy Tillman, Lafayette Lee, and Willie Dixon's son, Freddie Dixon. They were always sing a song, but I never would let me sing it. So,
well, let me stop you for just 1 minute here. You're watching and listening to Time Signatures. I'm your host, Jim Ervin, and along with me is legendary bluesman John Primer. He's been around the scene a long, long time, and we're enjoying the conversation. 1980, we're up to that point. The opportunity of a lifetime came your way in the person of the legendary Muddy Waters, a man whose records you listened to when you were a kid, right? How did that come to be?
Well, I listened to his music. My grandmother and them would go to town every year, and but they had some of his records anyway, you know, 70s. But every year they'd go to Jackson, Mississippi, and to the fairground, and Muddy Waters would be there every year in Jackson, Mississippi, playing. They would go there and come back and sing it and all that, you know, singing his music, and they'd be drinking, you know, back then. And so, and during that time, that's when it was the 45 records then. To the 7, 8, they had the 45.
Right.
LP, yeah. So that's what really got me going in with Muddy. And I had a dream. I played on Muddy's in his band. I was 14 years old in Mississippi.
Oh, man.
And I came to Chicago. So when the old man quit, he sent for me. He was sent his harmonica player, his old buddy Mojo Buford down to Teresa.
Wow.
And so when I went on break, his harmonica player Mojo Buford, George Mojo Buford, he said, "Hey, bro, Mud sent me down here to actually, do you want to play in the band? You need a guitar player." And when he told me, "You ought to see me," I probably spark was coming all out of me. I was so happy, man. Muddy Waters, I know Muddy Waters was famous, you know. So and so I said, yes. I picked you up at 10 o'clock the next morning. We going out to Westmouth where Muddy live and introduce you to him and show him who we got, because we getting ready to go on the road, got to go on the road. So I get out there and Muddy saw us and saw the bass player that played with us at Teresa House, at Teresa Lounge all the time, Honey Johnson. And we had a guy named Killer Ray, young guy, played drums. And, all of us went out there. Well, which was Jesse Ferguson first on the drums. Then he wouldn't go out of town, so we got Killer Ray Allison. So Muddy saw us, saw Lovey Lee Watson on piano and Honey's on the bass. Old school left. I think he knew Honey's and Lovely already. And he looked at me and Jesse and said, young school too. Old school and young school, that's what he said. So, hey, so everything was cool. And I got hired right there then when he saw me. Yeah, he was happy, smiling, yeah. So that's how I got the job with Muddy Waters. And that's what really put me, you know, in the right place to be.
Yes, sir.
Keep blues going. And Muddy really, it was a brand. Yeah. If you play with Muddy Waters and Muddy Waters band, you can either get a gig anywhere and play anywhere, and it'll give you a big name.
Yes, sir.
big name, yeah. So that's really was my biggest start in my career, Buddy.
Now, following Muddy's passing only a few short years later, you ended up with Magic Slim and the Teardrops, which was yet another huge break for you.
Yeah.
Talk about how that developed.
Same way. I was still at Teresa. I was still at Teresa Lounge. And so a guy named Junior Petty, we called him Daddy Rabbit in his band, and 55th and Shield, where they played at Florence all the time, Slim did. So he's about to quit. He was a deputy sheriff, so he had to do his regular job, so he quit. So the drummer, called his name Nate Applewhite, he was the house band at Teresa too. But Muddy didn't use him so what happened? Magic Slim, 1982, when Muddy got sick. And I was just still down there, so Magic Slim came down there, and Nate Applewhite told Slim about me. When you get the old, he always say, call you like he just said, John, old boy played out of Teresa. John, old boy, you get him. So Magic Slim sent his brother down there, Nick Hope, the bass player.
Wow.
He came down there and said, hey, man, my brother, let's go outside first. We went outside, and he lit up a cigarette. I didn't smoke or nothing like that. He lit him a cigarette, and he started talking. Said, hey, man, my brother, he needs a guitar player. Nate Applewhite told us come down and ask you. My brother, I said, who's your brother? What's your brother's name? Magic Slim. I didn't even know too much about I never knew him.
Wow.
Never did see him in a club. But I know that's who Nate was working with all the time when he went at Teresa. Nate Applewhite.
Sure.
So I said, yeah, sure. Come on Sunday at 55th and Shield, and sit in with us. So 1982, I went there and sat in, and they all liked me, all the women's and things, but there they liked me. But they didn't know I was already, hooked up, but they liked the way I sound and play. Some of them knew me anyway from down at Teresa. So Slim said, hey man, I need a guitar player to go to overseas with me. For how long? 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Oh God. I never been away from home that long. But when I left the city in Chicago. So hey, I said, okay, man, you got a passport? Yeah, I got a passport from Willie Dixon, So we went over for 6 weeks, man. And I was with the band ever since. And he worked a lot like I'm working now. And he said, hey, man, how long? And come in Chicago, we work every night before we go on the road. All of it linked everywhere. So I was with him 13 years.
Wow.
Never quit the band because I was the opening guy for him, 3 songs or 4 songs before he come up. About just us 3 pieces, yeah. And we got, that's how I got with him. And we got a brand new CD out now. Slim been gone 10 years. And it's called the Teardrops. And it was nominated for the Grammy, But I didn't win, but it was good. I've been nominated 3 times, 4 times. Bobby Rush won. I'm happy for him. So,
yeah.
So I'm happy with it. And so I got another one out from Wolf Records. Just came out too. It's a slow blues that no one never did slow blues CD. It's all slow blues. Me opening up for Magic Slim and playing 3 song with Magic Slim and me singing and Magic Slim singing slow blues on there.
Nice.
All the songs I opened up for him. Yeah.
Now, John, in 1995, you released your first major label debut. It was at that point then you also formed the Real Deal Blues Band, and you guys have just been absolutely killing it ever since. Looking back on those early years in Chicago, how did those stints with Willie, Muddy, and Slim prepare you for your solo career?
Because I learned from them. See, I learned always be a man of your word. Always try to be on time and keep your word and play places. So, and how to treat your musician. You got to be good to your musician. You can't, everybody knows it's a job.
Yes, sir.
It's a job. It's a job. and so everybody's in the band is grown. You got to respect all the grown people. We all grown. They know this your job, and I need you get angry at them about it. I don't get angry at them, but I will tell them, but I don't get mad. That's why I learned from Willie Dixon, Muddy Waters, and Magic Slim. I was Magic Slim 13 years, and Magic Slim never said anything mean to me about nothing, because I did my job.
Sure.
And whatever he said, he was the boss. And I wouldn't if he did this, do this, I do this, I do it. But he never told me what to do and how to do it, how to call him up, nothing. I invented everything, and we invented the way we play, the lump. Me and Magic Slim, we invented the drive called the lump play. So I did whatever I want to do, because I'm not gonna do nothing wrong, no way, because hey, I'm doing what I love, and I'm with somebody that I know is a great guy, and they're playing all good traditional blues. I play everything. Sir. I don't just play traditional blues. I play all kind of music. See, I learned it all: soul, doo-wop, class, any kind of music. I learned. I try to learn it, and I sings it right now, all the way from the 40s all the way to now. So that's what I do. Keeping all this music alive.
There you go. John, where can people find out more about you? Maybe they want to read more about your career, buy some CDs, or even book you for you and the Real Deal Blues Band for a gig.
Well, you can go to my website, www.johnprimerblues.com. And you can always find me on Instagram, www.johnprimerbluesman@gmail1.com. You can always order stuff online, CDs, and I'm always open for bookings. You can call if you call my number. You can call our phone number 1773-351-9315. That's my number, and my manager is my wife Lisa. You have to call that number. 708-217-2715. L. Becker Consultant at gmail.com. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
John Primer, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I wish you continued success with your music. And I am fortunate and blessed to have not only seen you play, I've also been able to photograph one of your shows when you played down in Napoleon. Matter of fact, if you look right over my shoulder here next to Buddy Guy, there's your poster right there.
I see it, yeah.
and that's the one you signed for me. That's great. I have immense respect for you, sir. I really do. And it was an honor to meet you and also to talk to you that evening. But I'd also like you to give my very best to the Real Deal Blues Band, if you would do that, sir.
Okay. The Real Deal Blues Band, y'all, when y'all hear that name, and you see a show, I want everybody to come on out and don't be disappointed when you hear that name and see me playing somewhere. I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna play traditional blues. We're gonna have fun and everything. Me and the Real Deal Blues play. You can either dance off it or sit down, but you can dance off of everything. I play dance music, blues, but I play the way so you can dance off of it. So, and I play the slow one the same way. So I play them all good traditional blues, something you can listen to, and it's got a feeling. I put hot sauce on it. We put hot sauce on it so you can feel it. Ain't nothing but a chicken wing with hot sauce on it.
Yes, sir. And I got to tell you, if you get a chance to see John Primer and the Real Deal Blues Band, it's time and money well spent. Absolutely a blast. Steve Bell up there playing on the harmonica. I've never seen people do with a harmonica what I've seen Steve Bell do when he was playing down there in Napoleon.
That's right.
Just a blast.
Yeah, and the drummer, he's solid, Leonard Medium. He played the solid. Now I got a different bass player,
yes.
My other bass player, Dave Forte, he's a great musician, but he had other business to take care of, so he had to lead the group. But I got a real famous bass player that played with Coco Taylor until she passed away, Melvin Smith.
Wow.
Yeah, me, Melvin Smith, and Lenny, and Steve Bell, 4-piece band. occasionally we use the keyboard too also. Yeah.
Definitely a good time.
Yeah.
Well, once again, John Primer, I want to thank you. And while I'm at it, I want to thank you, the listener, the viewer, the supporter, and the fan, because without you, none of this would be possible. And you have my sincere thanks as well. And by the way, please make sure that you click the subscribe and notify buttons below so you never miss an episode. Jim Ervin reminding you that keeping the blues alive is everyone's responsibility, but preserving the history of the blues one story at a time, that's my mission.
This has been Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. For more information on cabs, visit capitalareablues.org. You can find this episode and past episodes at lccconnect.org. The Time Signatures theme song, Michigan Roads, is used by permission and was written by Root Doctor, featuring Freddie Cunningham.
You know I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
Until next time, keep on keeping the blues alive.